You've been told strength is something you build by moving. More reps, more sets, more weight on the bar every week until something in you finally gives out. And that exact belief is why so many people spend years training and still feel breakable the moment life stops cooperating, the moment they have to hold something awkward, brace against something that won't stop pushing, or simply refuse to let go. Now look at what the Norse did with their bodies. Men who pulled an oar across the North Atlantic for weeks at a time, who gripped wet rope in a gale with frozen hands, knowing that if they let go, men died. They never benched a single rep. They never curled anything in front of a mirror. They didn't have a program, and they never counted a set in their lives. And yet, they built exactly the thing modern training almost never even attempts. Not strength you can move, but strength you can hold. Here's what almost nobody realizes about them. The Viking grip wasn't trained in a session. It was trained all day, every day, by a life that never let the tension go. Their world was built out of holds, from childhood to the grave. And every one of those holds can be rebuilt today. Subscribe and stay with me, because we're going through all 6, in order. And by the end, you'll understand why a body trained to hold on could outgrip, outbrace, and outlast almost anything the modern gym produces. Now let's start where the Viking world actually began. On the water. Which brings us to hold one. The oar. Everything the Vikings achieved depended on the ability to move a ship. And when the wind died, which it did constantly, that meant men on oars. Picture what that actually was. 60, 70, 80 men on a longship, each with both hands locked around a wooden shaft, pulling. Not for a set, not for 10 minutes, but for hours. Then resting for minutes, then hours again. On a crossing to Iceland, that could go on for 2 or 3 weeks. And here's the part people miss. Rowing isn't just a pulling movement. Between every stroke, your hands never open. The grip never releases. You are holding, under load, continuously, while your back and arms do the work around it. Rowing is a pulling exercise wrapped around one enormous, unbroken grip hold. That matters enormously because of how the body actually builds a grip. Your muscles respond to how much you move. But your tendons, the tissue that connects muscle to bone, and the real limiting factor in a crushing grip, respond to something different. They respond to time under tension. Muscle can grow in weeks. Tendon takes months, sometimes years, because it has almost no blood supply. It adapts slowly, and only to sustained load, which means an ordinary Viking crossing was, without anyone intending it, one of the most effective tendon-building protocols ever performed by human beings. Hours of unbroken tension, day after day, for weeks. So here's how to build it today. Take a heavy dumbbell or kettlebell in each hand and simply hold. Don't walk, don't move. Stand still and grip until your hands begin to fail. 30 seconds to start. Build toward 2 minutes. It is the closest most of us will get to the oar, and it will humble you far faster than any set of curls. But the OAR was only half the ship, because when the wind finally did come, the work didn't stop. It changed. Which brings us to hold 2. The rope. A Viking sail was wool, and when it was soaked with rain and sea spray, it was extraordinarily heavy. And the only thing standing between that sail and disaster was rope, held in human hands. So picture the other half of a Viking's working life. Hauling rigging, holding a line taut against a wind trying to tear it out of your fists. Wet hemp rope, cold hands, and no possibility of letting go. Because if you let go, the sail goes, and the ship goes, and everyone on it goes with it. This was not a repetition. There was no rep. There was only holding on. And the Norse valued that kind of contest so highly that it survived even into their law. The medieval Icelandic law book, the Jonsbok, actually mentions hide tugging, a contest of pulling against another man, alongside friendly wrestling, and rules that a man who took part did so at his own risk. That tells you something. This wasn't just work. It was sport. They pulled against each other for fun. And the reason it builds such a formidable grip is that a rope is not a machined handle. A barbell is knurled steel, engineered to sit exactly where your fingers want it. A rope is thick, uneven, moving, and slick. Your hands can't settle into one comfortable position. They have to keep resolving the problem, second by second, recruiting more of the hand and forearm than a bar ever asks for. Here is how to build it today. Hang from a bar, feet off the floor, dead weight, no swinging, and hold. 30 seconds, then 60, then 90. Better still, throw a thick towel over the bar and hang from that instead. The moment the surface stops cooperating, your grip has to work twice as hard. That's the rope. So the sea built their hands. But when a Viking came ashore, the holding didn't stop. It just found a new object. Which brings us to hold 3. The haul. A Viking farm ran on human strength. There were no machines. If something heavy needed to move, a man moved it. Timber, dragged out of the forest for a longhouse or a ship. Stone, livestock, barrels and sea chests loaded and unloaded from the ship by hand. And when a longship had to be moved overland, which happened around rapids or across a neck of land, men hauled it with rope and rollers and their own backs. Now here's the crucial thing about all of it. None of it had handles. That's not a small detail. That is the whole training effect. A barbell is balanced, evenly loaded, with a grip exactly where you want it, and that is precisely what makes it easy for the hands. A log has no grip. A stone fights you. A barrel shifts as you lift it. When the load is awkward, your grip cannot switch off for a single second, and your whole body has to brace around a force actively trying to twist you out of position. This is exactly why a man can deadlift a serious number in a gym and then struggle to carry a heavy, shapeless object 30 meters across a yard. He trained the lift. He never trained the hold. Here's how to build it today. Find something heavy without a handle. A sandbag, a stone, a loaded duffel bag. Pick it up, bring it to your chest, and just hold it there. No reps, no counting. Just time. 30 seconds to start. Your grip, your arms, your back, and your legs will all be screaming long before you expect them to. 3 holds down, and every one of them came from an object. Wood, rope, stone. But the Norse saved their hardest holding for something far less cooperative than any of those. Another man, which brings us to hold 4. The backhold. The Vikings had their own wrestling, and it wasn't a footnote in their culture. It was central to it. Their sagas are full of it. Egil's saga names it. Finnboga saga names it. And their law codes regulated it, which tells you exactly how common and how serious it was. They called it glima. And within it there were named forms, different ways of taking a grip on another man. The purest of them, for our purposes, was Eitrig Spenna, the backhold. 2 men lock their arms around each other's back, and from that grip, they fight. Not by striking, not by letting go and re-engaging. The grip is the contest. It's a straight test of who can hold, brace, and control the other man's entire body weight. A body weight that is doing everything in its power to break free. Think about the demand that creates. Your arms have to stay locked around 100 kilos of resisting, twisting human being. Your grip cannot open. Your core, your back, your legs, and your hips all have to fire at once and stay fired, because the moment any one of them relaxes, you are thrown. This is a full body isometric under a load that is actively trying to escape. And it is nothing like holding a barbell, because a barbell does not fight back. A living opponent is unpredictable. He pulls one way, then suddenly the other, and your nervous system has to recruit far more muscle just to keep up with a resistance that refuses to stay the same. Here is how to build it today. If you can, grapple. Wrestling, judo, or Brazilian jiu-jitsu will do more for your grip and your bracing strength in a month than machines will in a year. No partner? Take a heavy sandbag, wrap both arms around it in a bear hug, and simply hold it against your chest for time. Same demand, same total body brace. It just does not fight back. Now, before hold 5, and this is the one that separates a Norse grip from every other grip in this video, one quick thing. If you want the deeper system behind all of it, how the old world trained, ate, rested, and built itself into strength as one complete way of living, that is what the art of living like a man lays out in full. Links in the description. Because hold 5 isn't about what they held, it's about the condition they held it in. The cold grip. Everything I've described so far, the oar, the rope, the timber, the wrestling, happened in a place that was cold, wet, and utterly indifferent to human comfort. And that changes everything. Because cold does something specific to a hand. When your hands get properly cold, your body pulls blood away from them to protect your core. The muscles cool, nerve conduction slows, dexterity drops, and your maximum grip strength drops with it. Any climber, any fisherman, anyone who has worked outdoors in winter knows this. Cold hands are weak hands, so consider what that means for a Viking. He wasn't just holding a rope. He was holding a rope with hands that were already compromised, soaked, freezing, and losing strength by the minute. And he still couldn't let go. He had to produce enough grip to hold the line while working from a permanent disadvantage. That is training under a handicap. Every single day for a lifetime. And your body adapts to what it is repeatedly asked to do. So a hand that is regularly required to produce serious force while cold and wet becomes a far more reliable hand than one that only ever performs in a heated room, on a dry, chalked bar. That's the honest difference between their grip and ours. We train our hands under perfect conditions and then discover they fail us under real ones. To build it today, don't chase misery, but stop chasing comfort. Do some of your grip work outside in the cold. Skip the chalk sometimes. Carry your load with wet hands or on a bar that isn't perfectly knurled. The goal is a grip that still works when conditions aren't ideal, because that is the only kind of grip that has ever mattered. 5 holds in. Every one of them trained a man to hold on, to wood, to rope, to stone, to another man, and to all of it in the cold. But there's one last hold, and it's the one that pulled the other 5 together. The axe. The axe was the Vikings' tool and the Vikings' weapon. And what people always miss about it is that an axe is not a heavy object. Its power is in the length. Hold anything at arm's length and it grows heavier. Extend it further and it becomes brutal. That's leverage. A long-hafted axe puts its weight at the very end of a lever, far from your hands, and the further it sits, the more savagely your grip and forearms have to work simply to control it. And a Viking used that lever constantly, splitting wood for the fire, felling timber, shaping a hull, fighting. Not a set of 10, a whole day's worth, chopping, holding, guiding, controlling, hour after hour, with the load sitting out at the end of a long wooden handle, trying to twist itself out of his hands. That's the hidden grip trainer in the entire Norse world. Because when you control a long lever, the demand doesn't sit in your biceps. It sits in your hands, your forearms, your wrists, and the core that connects the whole chain together. It builds exactly the kind of strength no machine can, because machines are designed to eliminate the instability that makes you strong in the first place. To build it today, get something long and awkward. A sledgehammer, a long axe, a staff, a landmine bar. Hold it out at arm's length and don't let it drop. 20 seconds. Then swing it, chop, rotate, control it, and then hold it out again. Your grip will fail long before your arms do, and that's the point. That's the gap the Vikings never had. So put all 6 together. The oar, holding under unbroken tension for hours. The rope, gripping a surface that refuses to cooperate. The haul, bracing a load with no handles at all. The backhold, holding on to something that fights back. The cold, forcing the hands to work when they are already weakened. And the axe, controlling weight at the far end of a long lever. 6 holds. They cost nothing. They need no gym, no coach, and no equipment you could not find in a garden shed. All they ask of you is the one thing the Norse were never allowed to forget. Take hold of something, and do not let go. The ancient way exists to recover what was lost. If 6 ancient holds just changed how you think about your own training, you already know what to do next.